Welcome to Obsidian TTRPG-tutorials.com. Let's learn how to use the tool. Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back tonight to another Obsidian video. Tonight we're going to be having another look at Obsidian Publish. And in front of me you can see I've got my Obsidian TTRPG-tutorials.com website, and that's where I host all of my tutorials and make them available for you guys. But you know, this is actually an Obsidian Publish website. Alright, so I actually make this website in Obsidian, and you know, most of you will probably already know this, right? Like I just use normal Obsidian and I press publish and off it goes. Now, the fantastic thing about Obsidian Publish is just how easy it is, right? You make a note, you press publish, it goes up, and it's there. It's basically done. You know, it's relatively cheap, I find, and it serves my purposes very well. But one of the biggest weaknesses of Obsidian Publish is that it does not, by default, support Obsidian plugins. And, you know, for anyone who's gone through my plugin tutorials and had a look at my plugin list, you will see that there's a fair few plugins that I do use when I'm obviously, you know, building my vaults. The TTRPG community has lots of plugins, alright, and they serve lots of cool purposes, but I think that the biggest problem that we face is that a lot of them can't be published. Now, plugin developers are starting to get pretty clever though. They're finding ways around it, and I have done a previous video on how to use Dataview with Obsidian Publish. And if you look down the side of my website here, you'll see that I've got recently added, recently edited. Alright, these are two Dataview tables from my vault that basically are running on Dataview. Alright, if we come in, we have a look at my vault page, and we come down. Oh, this vault's getting large, it's getting messy. But if we have a look here, we go into reading mode, we can see there's two notes here. Alright, these are Dataview queries. If I think I can click on this to go through to this note. Alright, if we go into edit mode, you will see that it's not actually Dataview. Alright, but it's been updated by a template. That I run, and I've done a video on this previously. I think it's under Z templates, and I think it's called update publish files. There we go. So this little file here, I run with Templater every time I publish my vault, and what that does is it actually refreshes the Dataview queries, updates those notes that I just showed you, which then reflect into my landing page, and it's those markdown files that actually get published, not the Dataview query, but it is the Dataview query producing the outcome. Okay, so that's obviously that's pretty cool. Now, one of the things about that though, if we have a look here, is we'll go into reading mode. These ones here are not live updating at this point, right? They're not really Dataview queries, so when I'm using my vault, these are not updating in real time, all right, and that's fine. Like, I don't use them for the website purposes. But if this was my world building site and I was relying on Dataview for my notes, plus publishing that to a website, then I would want that to be able to obviously be able to update in real time and be useful for me as well when I'm using my vault. So, anyway. There's a new plugin in town. It's called Dataview Publisher. I'm going to go through and tonight show you how to use that because it's pretty damn cool. Alright, so let's start off with the basics. Let's go down to settings. We're going to come into community plugins, go browse. I'm going to start by typing in Dataview. And if we have a look for Dataview Publish, there we go. Dataview Publisher. Alright, we can see this is by UD. It's only been downloaded 279 times, which is surprising given how cool this is. All right, we're going to show you that tonight. So, Dataview Publisher. Now, it's got the instructions here, and obviously you need to go through and do the install and do the enable, and then it's got some little GIFs here to show you how to use it. It's got some installation settings here. Those are a little bit probably old now because it's now available on the community plugins section. All right, so you don't need to install it by Brat anymore. It does say here that you need checkbox time tracker plugin installed. I'm not 100% sure on why that's required, but it's one of the requirements, so I have gone ahead and installed that. And again, you can just do a search for that in the Obsidian plugin section there. It'll come up and install, and off you go. Then it's got some usage and some examples of how to use it. It goes into some more advanced sort of examples with JavaScript and Dataview.js. I'm not going to go through that tonight. I'll stick to the basics. And then it's got some examples of the settings here. All right, so first things first, install, enable, go to options, and let's have a look. All right, so it says Dataview source to search for target files. What this is a hashtag tag, all right, that you can put in your notes to say include this note in the parsing when I'm looking for which notes to refresh. Okay, so they do recommend you set one of these up, and basically what that's going to do is that's going to basically say I want this note to be refreshed. That's pretty much it. So we're going to put in this one here. All right, and then I'm just going to copy that because I'll need that for later. It's got a link here on how to learn how to use Obsidian Dataview. All right, so you know, for those guys who are new to it. And then update on save. Now this is unticked by default. I've turned it on so that basically every time the note that I'm actively in is saved, it's going to refresh that Dataview file and update. So that's going to make my life a little bit easier. Now, just while we're here with this link here, for you TTRPG guys, you can head over to my site, and if you type in Dataview, all right, you can actually see we've got a site here with all the various Dataview queries that I've used in my TTRPG journeys. All right, these are the ones that I find useful. Some of these are fantastic. So I really like the list monsters. No, where is it? List monsters used in note. I love that one. Right, so I can have a note for the chapter of the module I'm running, and at the top it actually lists all the monsters that are mentioned in that note. It's a fantastic query. But there's some great stuff here that you can learn from, right? There's also the Dataview Query Builder, fantastic community tool that you can use to build your Dataview queries. So just a heads up that that's on the site and available for you to use. All right, but we've gone through it, we've installed it, we've set up the options, and now we're ready to sort of start and use this. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is basically create a brand new note just as a place for me to test. Test ground. All right, so we're going to work in this note. And I keep a scratch notes folder on the left as a place for me to make these tests. I'm always making bad notes that I plan to throw out later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come back to community plugins from settings and come here to Dataview Publisher. And I'm going to click this link here, all right, just so I can open up the actual site and show you how I made a mistake. All right. It's always good to share our mistakes so we learn from each other. I initially came here to the README, and I came down here to this this usage note. All right, and I copied it, thinking that, you know, that's the syntax that I need. And then I went back to my new note, and I pasted it in. All right, and then from there, what I did is I was basically going through and creating a simple Dataview query, and here it is. All right, we're going to list from this tag, and it's going to list from the monster manual is what we're going to do. All right, and see when I went into read mode, all right, it's showing me the top line, but it's not showing me anything else. All right, it's not working. All right, and now I was stuck here for a few days trying to figure this out, and I got this wrong. Well, you know, to be honest, maybe there's an issue with the code on the help file. I don't know, but this did cause me a bit of confusion. It's likely that there's a space or a character somewhere here that I just cannot see. It's like it's not closing out properly. But anyway, delete that. All right, let's not mess around with that. What you do is you come over here to your command palette, type in Dataview, and you'll see that there's options come up for Dataview Publisher. So there's an insert Dataview Publish block. Click that. All right, now we have the Dataview block, and now we can actually come here and we can actually paste our Dataview query in here. All right, we go into reading mode, and does anything happen? It is a pretty big query, so maybe too big? Maybe. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this Dataview query just down below this section, just to make sure this query is working. Yes, it is. It's working relatively quickly. It's showing me all of the options from that monster manual from the CLI notes. All right, so we know that the query is working. I am still seeing, though, that there is still something here. This time, I have forgotten that I set up this option. Okay, so this is important. We're going to go Dataview Publisher. We did have this option here, Dataview Publisher, which is a tag. We're going to put the tag in the note. all right, which is basically telling the plugin that it's there. And we do need to basically save this in order for it to trigger. So we're going to come over here to Open Command Palette, and I'm going to type in Dataview again, and I'm going to go Update Dataview Publish Blocks. There we go. All right, so that's refreshed instantly. All right, now if we have a look here, what's it actually done? Okay, so we've got the tag that we put into the plugin settings to say, look at this note and refresh this note. Then we can see here's the query that we're using. And then what it's done is it's actually taken the results of that query and it's posted them down here. Okay. And then at the bottom of this, you'll see there's that end line. All right. And for anyone who doesn't know, these are basically comments. All right. So you can comment things out from appearing inside of Obsidian Publish. So really the cool thing about this, what this is doing is it's running the query here, hiding it in the comments. And then, you know, somehow the plugin is magically pasting the markdown version of that Dataview plugin into your notes as markdown. All right, so it's not actually the Dataview plugin itself that's actually going to get published again. Very similar to that process that I showed you at the start of the video that I've been using for a while, right? Where I used to trigger it with Templater. What this plugin is doing is effectively doing the same thing. Now, I did a little bit more testing here just to sort of push this to its limits and see what I can get it to do. And the one thing that I noticed is that, you know, I was playing in source mode. All right, playing in here, coming in here, and I was making changes to the Dataview query. And then basically going into reading mode and not really seeing that it was updating. Now I have, as you remember, go into settings and I've got the update on save option checked. Now that means a Control S should technically update this. I didn't have a lot of success with that though. What I did find is that this works better when you're in live preview mode. All right, and you can see here that as soon as I go into live preview mode, it actually starts to bring that up. If I change, let's go to a jelly, and I click out, all right, it basically refreshes it straight there. And if I press Control S, it then refreshes from the live Dataview query down to the option down here. All right, so that option to save seems to work a lot better, or at least it works. I couldn't really get it to work in the other mode very successfully, but it works a lot better when you are in live preview mode. Now let's just try this again just to show you how it does work. If we change this type again, we'll go back to a beast. We'll click out of it. All right, so that updates that query there. But if we come down and we have a look down here, it hasn't actually updated there. If we get out of the note and come back in, does it work? All right, no, it doesn't. Okay, so I used to be under the impression that saving the note was specifically like just getting out of the note and getting back in, right? It was always saving, but a Control S seems to actually trigger that. All right, so that's a nice, easy way for you to sort of refresh these queries for yourself and get through with that. Now, if you are one of these people who don't like to use live preview mode, all right, there is the source mode available here. All right, if we go mold and we come back in here and we go back here out of source mode, we go back into reading view. All right, we can come in here and we can try this option over here from the Dataview, update Dataview publish blocks. All right, and that then refreshes it. Now, if we go actually out of reading view, all right, now we're in live preview, we can see that has refreshed. So just heads up, the method or mode of editing that you're in inside of Obsidian seems to just interact with this plugin in different ways. So you might have to play around and get your personal use case working for yourself. All right, so there we go. We've now got refreshable data. All right, I'm personally going to stick with live preview mode when using this. It seems to work the best from what I've seen. And then what we can do is we can basically go ahead and publish. So let's go ahead and test that. All right, so we're ready to publish. It's been a long time. Usually I trigger Templater and I go update, and I've got an update publish files templater, and I publish using that method. It's been so long that I've not actually even looked at that. What you can do though is go Dataview and do update Dataview publish blocks and open publish panel. So that's effectively the same thing. So we can see the publish options now are coming up. It's doing its little sort of scan across the vault to see what's changed. And we're going to try and publish this, this test note. All right, so we're going to turn off some notes. We've got I got a scratch note. We're going to come down here to test ground. We're going to publish that one there. Click publish, zoom, done. All right, that's now been published, and we go to the website. We'll just refresh that. If we come here, Scratch Notes is now there. No, Scratch Notes isn't quite there. Test ground, there it is. All right, so here we go. I've now published that note. All right, so you can see the tag was published. The text I wrote in there is published. But more importantly, the list is published as well. Okay, so that means effectively I can now very quickly and very easily publish my Dataview queries and obviously get that working in my notes. Now, just a bit of a call out here. When I say Dataview queries, I am specifically talking about, you know, a proper Dataview query, not an inline Dataview query. I haven't seen a way to do this with inline Dataview queries yet. All right, so let's just do a little bit of a test here, just to put this into a live use case. All right, and we spoke at the start of the video how I have the Obsidian TTRPG tutorials website with these Dataview queries. All right, and then obviously when they update, they're updating live onto my website down the side here. So let's just go ahead and let's update one of these queries. Now, if you remember, this note here, well, I've got down to, this note here is not actually got the Dataview query in it, okay? The Dataview query is actually stored in the update publish files templated note that I've created. So this here is specifically my code. So I'm actually going to copy this, and this is a very complex example, guys, that I'm using here. It's something that I've used, and I'm basically migrating what I've done previously to the new method. So all of the text on here is not important. What's important is this bit that I'm highlighting. That is the Dataview query. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this note, and what we really want to do here is just test to make sure that the Dataview query is working. So we're going to do our ticks. We're going to put a Dataview. All right, we're going to check to make sure that that query works. All right, you can see it came up instantly. It showed me my previously modified notes, which is exactly what I want. All right, so I'm ready to basically upgrade this now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this command palette. I'm going to come in here and type Dataview. I'm going to insert a Dataview publish block. All right, I'm going to put myself in source mode while I'm doing this, just because I find it easier to work with. And I'm going to copy my query down here onto this line. I'm going to delete that test query that I had before. I don't need it in this case here. All right, we'll get back out of source mode. All right, we can see the Dataview query has functioned. It hasn't populated down here. So I'm going to open the command palette, and we're going to go Dataview, and we're going to go update Dataview publish blocks. Now this hasn't worked, and I did this on purpose, just as a reminder that you do need to make sure that you've got that tag in your note. Now, there is a couple of ways to do a tag, okay? There's the method where you do the tag, and then like the hashtag, and you write that in your note somewhere. But then that will be visible when you publish it. So I thought, well, let's try a different method. We're going to go into source mode. We're going to type -- to create a properties. Properties, we're going to go tags. We're going to go a test tag. All right, let's go back here. We got tags, we got test. We do need to make sure we put in from here the Dataview publisher. Note that I don't put the hashtag in here when I'm pasting it in this method that exists inside the properties. If I was going to do it as a hashtag, I would stick it down in here like this, and then that would become an actual tag in my note. But when I'm using the tags property, which is a special property for the notes, I can just store that Dataview -publisher without the hashtag, and that should pick this up fine. Okay, so we're here. We've got a template. We're going to come down here. We're going to come back here and go Dataview. Update Dataview publish blocks. There we go. And if we go back into our source mode, We can see now that there's a copy of that markdown file there, so that has worked. And what that tells me is I'm now ready to delete my original template. Okay, so I am now completely not reliant on that rather manual method that I had before that, you know, had a real reliance on Templater. We're good to go. I can now come ahead and publish this. So let's go ahead and do, well, we're actually going to go command, and we're going to go Dataview, and we're going to go update Dataview, publish blocks, and open publish panel. All right, the publish panel comes up. It's checking for any changed notes, and we're looking for the modified notes here to be updated. All right, so we'll get rid of that. We can see recent new files is here. I'm going to tick that to update it. I'm actually going to get rid of the test ground note. I don't need it. We're going to publish. I'm going to come up here and we're going to test the website. All right, it's now got modified, and it's got Dave's calculator and the teleportation, Dave's calculator and the teleportation error. All right, so we've basically got like for like reference in here, and it's showing nicely in that note. Now, just a quick discussion here on what I am doing here with this. You'll see that I'm not embedding the actual Dataview directly into this page. This is actually a note with the Dataview in it that's linking into this page. Now, I could probably just do it here, all right? So you could play with this either way. It can be in a dedicated note that you reference in, or it could be in the note that you're publishing. This is just a method that works for me. It keeps it nice and clean. No, you don't know where to find things. So anyway, that's it, guys. That's the Dataview Publisher plugin. And I tell you what an absolutely cool addition this is. This is one of those plugins that I feel is going to take off with absolute popularity. I really do feel that Obsidian Publish is amazing, but its one weakness is that it doesn't have support for the plugins, right? And I really want to be able to publish a note with pins. I want to be able to publish fantasy stat blocks, timelines, right? They're the things that you want to be able to put onto a website for your players to access, and they're the things that don't work. So there are workarounds. This is a new one. I really like this. It lets you use Dataview Publisher to make lists and tables, all right, proper Dataview queries. It's going to not work, though, obviously, for those people who are using the inline stuff. But if you're still using the Dataview inline stuff, I do highly recommend you take a look at the MetaBind plugin anyway, because it does do the inline update stuff in a more powerful way, because it updates in real time instead of when the note exits and enters. So I do feel that it's a better plugin for that. But anyway, this has been the Dataview Publisher plugin by UD. It's new to the market. It's a fantastic solution that just makes it very easy to actually get your Dataview onto your website. All right, and I think that is a great addition. So well done. So anyway, all right, outside of that, guys, I want to say a huge and massive shout out to my Patreons. Thank you so much for your support. It blows me away. The website is here for anyone who is new, who wants to learn how to use this tool. If you would like to support me, links to my Patreon are down below, and what that does get you is access to my Patreon vault, which is basically a TTRPG vault set up with just a foundation layer of templates and plugins and themes. The stuff I'm showing here, it does not include everything. I want to be very clear with that, right? It does not include any mechanics. You need to get that yourself, but it's designed to help you skip the real sort of learning journey and jump straight into using this tool. And to be completely honest, like, you can be up and running within the day. It's so easy to learn how to use these tools these days. There you go. Outside of that, if you'd like to speak to me, jump into the Obsidian TTRPG community. There are thousands of us in there sharing fantastic tips and tools on how to use this tool for TTRPG specific use cases. And it's a very, very amazing, useful community who can help you learn better. So jump in and join us, guys. It's no better place to ask for help. A lot of people keep asking for help on YouTube, and I will say that is not the best place to ask for help, all right? Because you cannot post pictures, you cannot post links to files that you're doing, right? If you jump into the Discord, you can share your screen with us, and we can go, oh, there's your problem. We can fix you up in usually like 3 or 4 minutes, and you're on your way learning something else. All right, instead of waiting for me to reply on YouTube and me just recommending you come to the Discord anyway. All right, that's usually how it works. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the content, and I will speak to you on the socials. Enjoy.